Oh yeah. What up? What up? Friday already. I know last night you're like we got so and so on for the show tomorrow, and I was like, tomorrow?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
That was a week?
There's a
That
lot.
was a week.
Honestly, we could have probably done like a halfway show with how much stuff happened this week.
I feel like I could have done a quarter way show with all the things that were going through my brain in the first part of this week. So that would not be. I mean, it would be interesting.
No,
I don't think that's something we want people to do. No. What's up? All right. So you got episode 31 on the 31. I think PC called that out. Kind of, it's going to be are there angel numbers involved here?
It's insane. I don't know how many more of these we can get, but we've gotten a lot. Like,
angel numbers, right? Yeah. This is the last chance we'll ever have to be 31 on 31, like number on day. So we should celebrate it.
True. So true.
Right. Okay. Love it. Okay. Well, we got a great show for you today, folks. Lovely to see y'all in the chat. We got a new skin up. I love the new look of Internet Explorers Live here. Feels good. Got a couple friends joining us today to talk about some interesting products, and then, I mean, just the bazillion things that happened out in the consumer crypto space this week. And a bunch of cool things that we have happening that people should show up to soon. That's going to be really cool. So I'm excited to talk about that as well. And then, I'm going to save this for when we're actually open. But people want a fishing update because I told them that you were fishing last week. And
they want a fishing update.
They want to know what fishing was like. Apparently there's like this deep desire and almost like a appeal to like stereotypical Canadiana out there in crypto worlds.
I mean, I went fishing once and started growing a beard, so I guess there's not really. I just haven't shaved, but I mean, it was a very Canadian fishing experience. Like I can share some pictures after, but went fly fishing, which I don't know if that's Canadian, but it's like deeper into the fishing culture, so it feels Canadian. Caught I think like 6 or 7 trout. It was in this very sick like mid 1800s like hunting lodge that I guess back in the day a bunch of the big name like Roosevelt and like all these crazy kind of American dynastic families kind of all went to kill Canadian wildlife. So it was cool. A lot of history there. Caught some fish, drank some beer.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Have you ever been ice fishing?
I haven't, but I'm very down.
I don't know if I'm down. It seems.
Have you done it?
No.
I think it would be cool.
I just don't like being cold, dude.
But you're in like I think you're in a hut and there's like fires and.
I just don't like drinking enough to be into fly fishing. I think is like the core issue I have. Or not fly fishing, ice fishing.
That's
fly fishing. I like you can smoke a cigar. I can be out like
you're outside.
Like, that's a thing. I'm down with that. Like let's go. Anyways, this is probably far more info on fishing that people actually cared about. I was really just saying that to try to fill some time here. But yeah, let's just jump in. Let's do it. Let's go. Oh yeah. Good morning. Good morning. We've got episode 31 of Internet Explorers. It is Friday. Friday has come quick, and the week is full of excitement and chaos and fun stuff and new things and buttons to click. And we're very excited to be here with you today. If you're hanging out over with us on Twitter, I see people over there on Twitter. You can come hang out at live.seedclub.xyz, where our chat is. Sign in. You can tell Peace Note how awesome he is. All good stuff. Anyways, episode 31. Josh is back from his fishing extravaganza last week.
1 sec, I lost headphone.
Josh has lost headphones. Okay, well, Peace, you're back. You had some lovely personal time. I don't know. I don't even know what you're doing, but it sounds like you left and came back sick. So welcome home.
Yeah, Song Camp had an offsite, and we did a little bit of we did some visioning and planning strategy for this year, and then we also did some hackathons, pivoted twice, and then And then we all went out for drinks with an amazing crew in Montreal and got me nice and sick and sent me on back home to the States. So it was a full trip. And then all that happened and we were like chronically online. Like we tried to watch a movie every night, but we couldn't. We just ended up in Twitter Spaces and it was great.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Are you back, Josh?
I'm back. Yeah, I'm excited for what the fuck did Peace do on chain, because he got back online and got very stoked on something. So I hope that's what he talked about.
Awesome. Well, we got a great show for you today. We're going to talk to the crew behind Alpha Friends, Crate Place, some products that are out there in the world that you can use, click, and do cool things with today. I'm going to figure out what the hell Peace has been doing online. We got awesome news about Demo Day. And then we're going to get into, I don't know, this feels more like TMZ here later today when we're going to talk about celebrity coins, Pumped Up Fun Live, the latest from Fantasy Top. And I don't even know what's in the lightning round. So it's we got some fun. We got some chaos. I'm sure it'll be insightful, but let's jump in. I'll turn it over to you, Josh.
Sick. Sorry, I was just retweeting. I went to retweet on my phone and then volume switched over. So yeah, let's bring are we bringing VJ up?
We're bringing VJ up.
We should. I'm sorry. I'm transfixed by this infinity thing. Look at us. We got infinity all the way in there.
VJ, how you doing, man?
Hey guys, great to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, welcome to Internet Explorers. So I guess probably, yeah, I think there's kind of a lot to get into here. I think the kind of dichotomy between Superfluid, the protocol, Alpha Friends, I think we kind of talk a lot or think a lot about kind of this protocol kind of application, duality relationship. So I'd love to get into that, but maybe, yeah, just kind of very briefly, do you want to start off with what Superfluid is and then maybe just how that led into Alpha Friends, and then we can probably spend most of our time there.
Sounds great. So for those who aren't already familiar with it, Superfluid is a protocol for money streaming. And by money streaming, we literally mean getting paid every second. So, for example, I receive my salary every second, a bunch of people getting grants paid every second. And that's like real tokens into your account, not some sort of fancy, I have to go and claim this thing. And that's kind of achieved by us upgrading tokens and making smarter ones, basically. And fundamentally, like what we've been building over the past few years is like this protocol whereby you can build pretty much anything you can imagine. Spent a lot of our time on salary and grants and other fun things and tried to let other people build out the rest. But, as I think all infrastructure teams have discovered over the past couple of years, like the best route to actually, figuring out whether you've like built something great and also, like improving that cycle between the protocol and sort of app development. You kind of have to get your hands dirty. So we've had like loads of ideas, I guess, around DeFi and SocialFi and like subscriptions over the years. But ultimately we wanted to get something on people's home screen. So we knew we had to build something with some pretty degen mechanics tied to this Superfluid streaming stuff. So yeah, we came up with this concept, I think about 9 months ago. Been building it in tandem with some other things, which I'm excited to kind of start talking about soon. But yeah, it's a SocialFi app connected to Farcaster and kind of embed Superfluid within it.
I dropped some invite codes in our private chat here at Peace if you want to use it, if you're trying to sign up.
Let me get in there.
In the StreamYard chat here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. So I remember Superfluid being like, I mean, you guys have been at it for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah, founded 2020, first mainnet in 2021.
And so it's just like, I think leaning into one of like the most, it's like a compelling thing that can be unlocked because of blockchains and crypto, right? And it's just like this idea of streaming money, I think is really fascinating. It was, I think, for the longest time interesting to me that it wasn't as widely adopted, or like it didn't, maybe it was just almost too far out. It seems like a simple idea, but it also feels like it's a meaningful shift in how people are thinking about what payments are and earning are, et cetera. And so I think when I saw you launch, I was expecting it to be integrated into so many more use cases than ultimately happened. And when I saw what you're doing with Alpha Friends, I was like, oh, great, cool. I think there's, you guys are leaning into actually building something that's probably uniquely enabled by this infrastructure that you guys have built for the longest time. But I'm curious, like, is that a fair sense that it just, there was some, or maybe why do you think it wasn't quite adopted as widely as I think so many of us thought it probably would be?
Yeah, I think like, streaming money has been a thing in crypto for quite a while. There are like even as far back as I think 2015, 2016, like I remember seeing concepts around streaming money, obviously implemented in maybe a more naive way, not as composable, all that stuff. But I think, fundamentally, like crypto payments also sort of haven't been a thing like at a large scale over those few years as well. There are a lot of real world implications for getting paid in crypto. I think it's a lot easier in some places than it is others, a lot more easy for contractors than it is for employees and all that stuff. And obviously, like, there are now a bunch of great solutions, like, Opolis wrapping your crypto salary in W-2 in the US. And, like, I think the direction of being able to pay people legitimately in crypto has been, really positive over the past couple of years in particular. But I think, for us, like, the original goal was to, try and find that one domain where we could generate a lot of usage of streaming money. And the thing that made the most sense to us was kind of crypto salaries for people who are getting paid in crypto. But that's a small market. So, we got decent penetration, like a bunch of top teams like Maker and 1inch and like Delphi and the like getting paid in streams. And from there, we kind of progressed on to, token vesting and grants. And so all of Optimism's RPGF3 and hopefully future grants are being paid out with Superfluid. But, the dimensional change from that kind of B2B use case to retail, something like very tangible in people's hands was something that we felt like we had to kind of get over to really make this thing more mainstream.
Yeah, very cool. Why don't we get into Alpha Friends? Because I think there's some really interesting, I think at the surface level, it's pretty similar to, Friend Tech or some of these kind of token gated, key gated chat rooms. But I think there's some UX improvements, but also I think the way you've integrated streaming into kind of like the speculative games you can play are pretty novel and interesting. So maybe, introduce those. Would love you to describe what those kind of speculative games are and how you kind of thought about their design.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, all of us are familiar with Friend Tech, definitely the kind of OG category leader. But for us, basically, this kind of idea of bonding curves was, like, is a bit of a limited game. Like, it's a bit of a shell game where someone is left with a bag. And if you kind of like sell all your keys, you find out your portfolio isn't really worth as much as it was on the front page. And, with Superfluid, obviously what we're able to do is actually pay people by the second. So instead of, paying, like locking up a huge amount up front or trading for a key, you're actually literally paying, like a few degen per day over the course of a month, like equaling like a pretty regular, Patreon-like subscription amount. And essentially the flow of Superfluid is of Alpha Friends is that you go and subscribe to people's channels, to get access to these chats, and people are doing all kinds of things from, gated like NFT mints, their subscribers, through to, giving them actual like alpha updates on new tokens are launching and stuff. And then like for every degen you're spending, you're basically earning some alpha tokens, which is our kind of platform token. And it's not a tradable token or anything. It's a kind of utility token that exists within the app. But basically the meta game of this app is that you can stake those alpha on channels, and doing so basically earns you a slice of that channel's revenue. So it's like, basically you're paying in subscriptions, you're earning alpha, you're staking that alpha to earn more degen. And basically if you play the game really well, you can earn a lot more degen than you're paying in subscriptions. And if you're a channel owner and you're earning a sort of income in streams, you can actually sort of immediately stream out that income to as many channels as you want to kind of, truly be optimizing the game. But yeah, we've seen some very interesting kind of meta games emerge out of that over the past few days.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So you're streaming degen, getting streamed alpha, and then claiming alpha and staking that on channels that you think will return a high percentage of revenue or something. And does the staking, like, is there like a curation mechanism there or some like product value in staking? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So simultaneously with this kind of degen you earn back, it's a curation mechanism to basically decide which channels emit the most alpha as well. So you're kind of creating an extra incentive, but you're also sort of placing people on this leaderboard. So like the top kind of stake channels are ones where people have staked the most, and they're kind of emitting the most like alpha in sum total, but then that's divided between all subscribers. So it's like, yeah, there are some interesting like longer term mechanics around that as well.
Yeah, that's cool. And then go ahead, Jess.
I was just sort of curious of like the scale that we're at here. Like, how many sort of users are using this? And I mean, I guess that's my question.
Yeah. So we got up to 10,000 users pretty quickly. It was kind of nuts, actually. We I think we hit 500. We hit 50 users in like a couple of days. Like, you know, reaching out to friends and getting them to sign up. We got up to 250 users on the first Friday. Like immediately, all of our access codes were used up. And then the following week, 1,000, and then now about 10,000. We have dropped a little bit. We had a bit of a like descaling, I guess, because basically people realized that you can kind of start streaming like to 10,000 different channels at the same time to farm alpha, and that kind of brought us all the way up. And then there's people who decided to stop doing that, and it's come back down again. But you know, I think we're in a pretty good position. Like, you know, we're only 4 weeks in, still got 10,000 users. And I think peak volume was like 10 million DGen volume a day into total subscriptions, which is pretty cool.
And is there like a revenue model you're pushing towards here? Is there a token in the future? Like, how are you sort of thinking about the business here?
Yeah, I mean, I think lots of things are on the table. The sort of intrinsic revenue model is that 5% basically of all streams go directly to the treasury. But I think, you know, alpha obviously is a kind of interesting primitive for us. You know, has these existing uses. We'd like to add more uses for it. Tradability one day maybe. But yeah.
That's cool. And do you feel like, I guess the way you've integrated streaming into this is a pretty good example of a killer use case for it? Or do you feel like there's still more to do here to really show off the power?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, you know, it's one of many use cases that we came up with as a kind of idea for like, you know, how to make Superfluid the most tangible to people, and also to kind of how to use degen incentives to kind of bootstrap us to a lot of engagement very quickly. And I think it's done really, really well at that. I mean, this is kind of like a peak account abstraction experience, like Farcast to sign in, like got an AA wallet in the background, and then all transactions are paid for in degen. So it's like, you know, a kind of single token experience. And, you know, already seeing as you click around, like everything's just one click away, which is kind of nice. And I think like that makes sense for a certain category of consumer apps. I think we have a lot of other ideas that are a bit more crypto native. And then obviously in the long run, like there are all kinds of, you know, bridge over to fintech and bridge over to kind of just sort of general non-crypto retail like concepts. But ultimately, you know, it's a game of stepping stones. I think like this is the very first one. We have one, which is a streaming exchange, which is our kind of next big thing. And that's like, you know, fundamentally a little bit more complicated, but maybe a bit broader reaching in crypto in theory. So see how that goes.
Awesome. So if there's people who want to go try this out today, they still need an invite code? And if so, how and where do they go get that?
Yeah, I mean, so you found the Alpha Friends Korean channel, but on the main Alpha Friends channel on Farcast, there's actually like a lot of people still putting out invite codes. We were pretty, I think we put quite a few out the last round, so there's still a lot floating around. Obviously, we're still in early days, so I'm assuming that will get used up at some point. But if you sort of keep scrolling the channel on recents, you'll be able to find something like that.
Amazing. Yeah, I love it. So, I had numerous people ping me saying you should go check out Alpha Friends. So you should go check out Alpha Friends. So I'm glad we were able to get you on here. And I think there's like a much bigger wave here, I think, that Josh sort of alluded to, which is this idea of, I think, teams realizing that we need to kind of push this experience a lot further forward to really unlock the vision, the potential, the understanding of what some of this, you know, slightly more abstract infrastructure can actually do. And you know, I think we're now at the stage where you could literally just send a link to somebody who really doesn't even know much about crypto and can start to go play these games and participate. And I don't think we've fully internalized that, both from like a broader crypto curious sort of perspective and also from like a builder perspective. Like, it's like the opportunity there is to really go build these really compelling experiences. And I guess that also comes with the responsibility to go do it. So stoked to see you guys running those experiments. And I can imagine 3, 5, 7 more of those, and a couple of them hitting, and all of a sudden the world of streaming, finance looks very different than it does today.
Here's hoping.
Right on, man. Well, appreciate you hanging out with us today. If you're listening to this, go check out Alpha Friends. I don't know, Peace, did you set up a channel, or are you just subscribing to stuff?
I did. I set up a channel.
Well, there you go. So you can go join Peace's channel and start streaming today. Oh, there's some taglines in there. I love it.
Follow me and earn.
Have you, Jay? Appreciate you, man. Best of luck with everything. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Cheers, guys.
You dude. Yeah, I feel like seeing just the number tick up like that,
dude.
It just seems obvious, right? It's like, yeah, of course, that's how internet money should be flowing around.
Supporting my channel, it's pumping your own bags. Every time you like my cast, your bags are going through the roof.
Big bag energy. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not running for office or anything. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you could. Why not? I mean, I think you're president of one of our friend tech channels.
Oh, I am. True.
Yeah. So congratulations for that. Yeah, I do think this is like the new reality. I mean, you've been on this for the longest time, Josh, right? Like the infrastructure without the tangible experience that comes along with it, that really defines like the best use case for it. I think this is going to be very difficult to actually really stand out. I think the path you get to that is actually just running a bunch of experiments. I think, if this first one didn't work, then running up 2 or 3 more, I think to ultimately get to it makes sense. My guess is they'll have, a few others that.
Well, I think you kind of need teams that are just like overly incentivized to do something, right? Like I remember when we're setting up like Seed Club payroll, it's like, sure, you could stream it, but it feels like a kind of minor improvement off of just like getting paid monthly. But then you have a team that's like, okay, we're just going to force streaming into existence and show why it's cool. And, even if you're just building this from scratch, it's probably not like a part of your, like streaming probably isn't a part of your like MVP or something you would even think about early, right? So I think that just highlights the need for these protocol teams to get in there.
Love it. All right, let's rock on.
Let's get Joey up here.
Joey.
Hey guys, what's up? How's it going?
What's up, man? Doing well.
Joey, you're one of my reply guys. You replied once to
I am.
You're a reply guy. I love it. I love it. Actually, reply guys were like, hey, here's this whole new thing. And I was like, what the the fuck? That's cool.
The reply guy to guest pipeline.
Real quick.
Yeah, I think about to become in my reply guy era.
You have to be. Once you're building something, you gotta get into your reply guy era. Man. I mean, let's just jump into it. We'd love you to just start off with who you are. Joey, who is Joey Iney? Joey Iney?
Yeah, Joey Iney.
Joey Iney. Yeah, so what did you do before Crate Place? And then we'd love to just jump into what Crate Place is, and I have a bunch of questions.
In a previous life, I was a beat maker, producer. I used to make beats. Actually, I made some Jake Paul songs. I used to live over there. I used to be like the producer engineer at that house. It was kind of like a label, not really. Like there's some artists living there who didn't really have association with like Jake publicly, but it was fun. Like worked with a bunch of rappers. Obviously just a good time, as you'd imagine. After like a year or 2 over there, and Jake moved to Puerto Rico and stopped and like really just locked in on boxing and stopped doing music stuff. I kind of like looked at my music royalties and realized something was off, and like I just wasn't. It was like on all my songs, on everything, and I just realized like something was wonky. And when I dug into it, I ended up being more confused than before. Like I just discovered like a broken mess of the music industry. Just nothing makes sense, and it just set up in a way to fail. It set up in a way to be misunderstood, and from there jumped into crypto and realized like the future of music in some way, shape, or form is with a blockchain. Whether we're routing royalties through it, or whether we're building like new types of assets like music NFTs or now music coins, I knew it's something like somehow or some way blockchain is going to be it's going to be like the basis of a new music economy.
Very sick. So that kind of led to the insight for Crate Place, which I guess like the smooth brain kind of description of it is it's basically pump.fund, right? To launch tokens on a bonding curve, graduates to a liquidity pool. but the big difference is that the starting point is a song or like an MP3 or WAV file instead of just a JPEG. So I'd love to like why start with that instead of a JPEG, I guess is my question.
Yeah. So taking a look at so taking a look at like music NFTs from like the last cycle. I missed that like I wasn't a huge music NFT person. Even though I was in crypto at the time. I've been in crypto since 2020. And something about collecting for me personally, it just didn't hit as well. It just didn't hit for me. So looking at kind of like what music NFT is, where I think some of the issues were, it's number one, it's like low liquidity. You buy music NFT like originally they were really expensive, like $1,000, $2,000, and they're gonna sit in your wallet, and you're never gonna sell one. They're never gonna sell them. So actually, I did buy music NFTs early on, and then I just like never had. There's no market for them. The second problem is there's a unit bias with it. So it doesn't, like, you have 1,000 of this one music NFT. Like now it's like with Freeman's, like you have like a large number of these music NFTs. But it's hard to wrap your head around like what is one unit of a music NFT. So looking at that and kind of thinking like, okay, what if we just take music NFT and make it hyper fractional, hyper liquid and infinitely fractional? What if we just do music coins, like just song coins? So that was kind of like the inspiration. The pump.fun model, it might not be like the final model. It's just kind of like our starting point to kind of test it out. But yeah, we're already thinking of like tweaks of how to make it more music friendly, more artist friendly. That was kind of the starting point.
So you're very So you're very much coming at it from the music perspective, right? Like how do we, or I don't know, capture the true like social or cultural value of a song. Clearly,
exactly.
Music NFTs were cool as collectibles, I think, but clearly, weren't great at like forming community, truly being these like networked assets and really capturing the cultural and social value around that. So you're interesting that you're kind of you're coming at it from that perspective. I think like another interesting framing of this is actually just as a new like starting point for meme coins. Because like I think it's an interesting question of like if you launch a meme coin, you get the JPEG, you get the description, you have the meme, but then you're also launching it with a song or sound or something. Like does that give it more like mimetic superpower to kind of break through and take off? So I'm curious, like, are you thinking about it?
Yeah.
Are you thinking about just kind of the broader like meme coin launching use case as well, or is it very much like how do we solve music?
It's very much how can artists crowdfund their music? Like the starting point is that side of things. Like how can like artists just basically just like make more money? Like that's the starting point. Spotify and like the modern streaming model is capped. Like a million streams, you've heard this before, a million streams is $5,000. And it doesn't make sense. Like if I'm listening, if I'm a Spotify subscriber and I'm paying $15 a month, right? First of all, like that is the most I can pay. Like that I can only pay $15 a month. The second thing is if I listen to one artist only, if I just listen to like my one favorite artist over and over, like that's the only person I listen to, out of that $15, it's not going all to him. It's still getting split with like Rihanna and Drake and Taylor Swift and whatever, because Spotify pays out in their pie chart model. So it's not capturing the value. So I just feel like there's so much untapped. Like people are just throwing money at like Pepe and like Shark Cat and things like that, which are funny and cool and stuff. But how can we get that speculation, excitement, attention into other cultural sectors, like, and so that's kind of where it's coming from.
Okay, well, I've got really exciting news here. You may have seen me distracted through that conversation, but I just launched my first AI single on crate.place. It's called Hope and Chains. I'm going to drop it here in our Explorers live chat. If you're hanging out on Twitter. You should come over to live.seedclub.xyz. You can see it there. I hope it worked. I think it worked. Hope and Chain is it's like a emo pop record or song, really talking about the dreams of L2 creators in 2024. Really hoping and praying, and yet ultimately being
real
dismayed.
quick. You should buy some tokens. Like
Okay.
I always suggest like the artist, the creator buys tokens first.
Did I just fumble a bag already?
Like I don't want to buy it before you.
I exit
that-
liquidity
that would be
now.
cool.
To become my own exit
Yeah.
liquidity.
Yes, I got it. Yes.
Peace
I'm
got in
in.
first.
Okay, I can't even. Oh yeah, Peace is in
Okay,
there.
now
Okay.
you bought it. Okay, so now that you bought, like I didn't want to front run you.
Hold on, I'm trying to buy here. Hold on, just give me 1 second.
Oh, this is courteous.
All right, I'm in,
This
baby.
is so courteous.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I think.
This is
I'm
not how the
very-
This is not how the trenches are supposed to work.
I'm never
I have like
selling.
no more ETH left. Like I just spent it all on these random great songs, but I'm gonna throw like my last little ETH at this.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
All right, gotta use my random wallet.
But I mean, I think this is interesting, right? Because you're pulling on like two. So there's this new sort of financial medium or economic medium, like it's the promise of crypto, and then there's this new creative medium, which is the promise of AI, and then both of those are kind of like open questions around how and what the world looks like if those things sort of take over. And you kind of framed it up in a pretty easy and simple model here. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. Like we only launched uploads yesterday, so I'm really curious. We had once like so the very first song already made it to Uniswap. Like I made a welcome to Crate. That was the first song, and yeah, it made it all the way. And yeah, just I'm curious to see like people always about that one because it was the first song on the platform. But I'm curious to see what the second song to do it will be. Like, will it be like a crypto native? Like, community? I'm just curious. I don't know.
It's going to be
my bet
Lost
is
in
it's
Chains
not-
by L2 Graveyard. Come on,
Maybe
obviously.
it's that.
Dude,
My bet is it's not going to be. It's going to be some meme. It's not going to be. It's not going to be an artist. It's not going to be a song. I think it's going to be some weird mimetic thing that can be captured through sound and gets launched and breaks through on here.
Peace, what would be the mimetic thing that you could do with music that's not an artist or a band, but it's just what comes to your mind?
I mean, the thing that comes to mind, it's interesting. Nicholas and I were kind of talking about mimetic sounds the other day, and the thing that comes to mind was that huge fight in Congress when there was like the bad butch bleach blonde da da da. And the first thing the dude leading the meeting said was a what now? And like that fucking leveled me. Anyway, if I could buy that, I would have. Because it's a great audio meme.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny. In that conversation, we were just kind of talking about how interesting the surface area of the internet is, the surface area that is created by these apps, and how TikTok created this new feature that people did where it just started as upload audio and do a dance to it. But that created this format where then people could like remix any audio and create videos on top of it and create viral audio in this new way. And it was just a whole new style of storytelling. And so I don't know. I think this is really interesting because it's just new surface area for creators being like, well, yeah, if this thing makes it out to the wild, then that pool, it doesn't disappear.
Yeah. I think like the bird, whatever bird token you were obsessed by it at dinner, like if it got launched with like its anthem bird song or whatever, like I feel like you would have loved it even more.
I probably would have. That's true. I don't even know what sound that bird makes. That's pathetic on my end.
I mean, it's interesting is these types of things have like, a crazy power to start to drive transaction volume through it. Obviously, we've talked a lot about that with regards to Pump.Fun, regularly in the top 10, most highest volume transacting contracts. And it looks like you guys have done around 300,000 in volume already since this past week. Is that right, or is that?
Yeah, since launch, most of it was thanks to the "Welcome to Crate" song, like just like the first song, people speculating on that. I think we still need to, like, I think a meta needs to form, not a meta, but like a certain vibe needs to form. People are just trying stuff. Like people did AI songs. People did someone did like a Vine boom. Someone did like a Ducks, like, I don't know. I think there's gonna be a lot of experimentation early, but yeah. So I think once people figure out like what the right type of like what the right model is, I think we'll see some more interesting activity from there.
Yeah, you just kind of need to get to some critical mass of liquidity where you can actually come here and play games, and it's gonna be fun. Like I was playing Pump.fun like pre it having that, and it's way more fun when there's just this exact same game but just way more people there. So just figuring out how to make that happen is definitely
we're gonna add a lot more like social features, like maybe for example like the song with the most volume per day, like it gets shown, you know, on top, or like gets tweeted or something, but or gets casted, sorry, but like a Farcaster bot, or just different fun things. We're gonna try to make it, you know, more engaging, and I definitely want to go like that route. Yeah, so
amazing, man. Well, we're running out of time here today, so we're gonna have to let you go. But I'm gonna go shill Hope in Chains because I think it just accurately captures the meta that I see out there in my little weird niche of the world today. But yeah, love these things. Stoked for you to be experimenting here. A lot of green on that screen, which I love to see. So much green.
You can also make a song with like a single prompt on the platform. So
yeah, that's I mean, literally, I literally wrote that I wrote that song with one prompt, and it took like 10 minutes to do that. DALL-E, ChatGPT, upload, add liquidity. I've got 3 fans. Shout out to Eddie for being my ride or die out here. Thank you, Eddie. Anyways, man, cool. We'll be watching and clicking buttons, and wish you the best. Thanks for hanging out.
Appreciate it, guys. A lot of fun. See you soon.
See you, dude.
Thank you. Ciao.
You know, it's easy to see these sorts of things at a bit of a higher level of attention. Like the market, I think, still tens of thousands of people who are probably really eager and willing to go click these buttons early. That's, I think, growing. People start to love tokens more, the games that emerge from this. You know, I think the thing that you and I have been talking a lot about, Josh, is just like this path to being able to go launch something and generate meaningful revenue to bootstrap these type of businesses is just like really compelling. I think it's been a promise of crypto for the longest time, and it's sort of taking this detour down venture capital land. And you know, if you look at the Pump.fun guys, you're like, well, why the hell are they even raising money? Like, why would you're doing $1 million a day? You did $20 million in the last month. Why do you like? Why? It's amazing. You I mean, you do it for either scale or there's maybe reasons, but you're in a very different position when you're raising at that point, and maybe you don't even have to. And I think that's very, very cool. Anyways, all right, we got a lot more to get into today, so let's get this train rolling.
What the fuck is peace doing on chain?
Mint that song.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, I would feel fine about minting that one. That's great. There's actually it's worth just shouting this out on the thing because there's interesting like call to seeing that there's a musician in the chat who's basically just like, this feels like way too much. Like I couldn't put my art on here, and I do think it is such an interesting space of like, yeah, do you put your diehard life's work on the shitcoin platform? Maybe not. But it's
a new third type of thing.
Yeah, totally. So it is it's interesting. Anyway, what was I doing on chain? Apparently not the fuck enough. Spread across too many wallets. I hold my MyLady and my Peace Note account, and my score is 700. Pathetic. 2 of 128 achievements earned. Insane. And so this is Beetle Game. It's kind of broken. I keep trying to generate my card and it's not working. But the cool thing is, basically, like, long story short, what Remelia has launched this platform that kind of like brings their insane world into a single place. So it's just like, it has all these different traits that you could own, all these different places you could have gone, like MyLady Village and Minecraft or wherever that is. Minted a Remelio. Yeah, I love this. Like having these trading goals, whether or not you've like used the NLP, like I'm assuming you're talking about NFTX or something, and There was scattered art missions. Anyway, really fun. And then there's the Beetle game. They just took over Twitter by a storm, or they took over my Twitter by a storm. All I saw was Beetle game. And they were saying
I never saw one mention of it.
you didn't see anything. Oh my
Nothing,
god.
zero.
It was a fucking war zone. I'm like really beating my computer up right now. Or we'll see if we make it. I might get so Beetle game. Let's just see. Yeah, basically everyone's saying like, you know, it's not an airdrop, it's not a game. This is like this is a fight. This is a fight to the death. And there's all these I don't know. All these people posting about Beetle game. And they're saying it's where you post fast, you post hard, and you win, and that's the only way you win. And I think it really is. I have no idea what they're planning, but I think that you get a score, and I'm hoping that they continue to update these Snapchats, and by being active, you can continue to get a better score and be more involved in the thing.
I feel like this is just perpetual. I have no idea what they're doing, but I think they're going to do something cool again, and I hope they keep doing something cool and they keep doing something.
I mean, I think that's the theme of the P segment is like
a never-ending same thread being pulled.
You create the most ambiguous, confusing project that just never ends because that will captivate.
And I loved this because it was like literally just yesterday I found this image. It was like an image enthusiast badge. Congratulations, you've spent time viewing an image. Share or see all badges. I'm like, yeah. Fucking why do product managers want to humiliate anyone who uses their platform? And then Remelia does it, and they're like, "Own a face tattooed my lady." I'm like, "Woo!" So
I like that. Yeah,
I have. Yeah, there's something wrong with me. And the other thing is this cool project. This is worth shouting out. Different Rooms, which is from Baggy Industries, who just do cool art projects. Mainnet. Super hard. I think all their tokens are on mainnet, and they do like
Lab.
Yeah, they have a couple of really cool weirdo collections, and this one is like a bunch of pop culture. Well, I mean, I guess maybe just cultural references. I don't know how popular, but Edgar Degas and Giorgio Morandi and Andy Warhol were some of the references mentioned, and then they took in order to then that. Those were the references for all their base layers of the assets. And then they took the I Ching to create the algorithm for which they're all put together. Which maybe I need to like read more about, which is cool because they're basically saying like, you know, lines are determined using a method of controlled randomness, such as tossing a coin to produce yin or yang, which is a 0 or a 1 value, thus producing 64 possible hexagram combinations.
Piece, if you've never opened that book,
I have, but I've never thought of it in the terms of like binary or of a computer.
What's the whole thing? You flip the coin, flip the coins, and then go to wherever the randomness tells you, and then there's some deep insight that is really relevant for where you are specifically in your life right now, and then you're like, what the fuck?
I just have never in my life have considered the fact that is a literal computer. But it's really interesting.
All right. Well, we go from Remelia's to mainnet. That's quite the range today, Piece.
Totally. Well, I think Remelia might mostly be mainnet. I don't think they have anything.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I mean, mainnet is actually like affordable again with everything going on to L2s, which has kind of been fun.
We skyrocketed to 34 Gwei today. It's like a miracle that's our like bad gas.
Yeah, incredible. All right. Well, welcome back, Peace. I'm glad you had time to go click around on the internet and find some new fun things. And I mean, it's interesting to see with the Beetle game just how frustrating it is if you don't have like the ability to bring in all your full identity, aka like different addresses you have in different places. This promise of composability, and yet at certain layers it continues to fail us.
100%. Yeah, it'll be nice.
Crypto.
So I don't know. We're a couple EIPs away, I guess. We'll see.
Always a few EIPs.
You're always a few away.
All right. 15 minutes for some heat. You're just gonna have to all read my newsletter because I'm gonna put some.
We'll get through it. No, we'll get through it. This is a real quick one.
This is a quick one. Go for it.
Demo day, June 20th. We got a link here. Make sure you RSVP so you ensure that you get your space there. I'm sure many of you have already been to one of our demo days in the past. They're not your traditional demo day. It's not only an opportunity to, well, traditional demo days are like for investors, a lot of vests, a lot of all birds. This is for the people, right? This is an opportunity for these builders that we've been working with over the last 3 months. They're all incredible human beings. They're all building amazing things to sort of to share what they've been working on, to give you the earliest possible look, not only at, some of them have live products, most of them don't yet, but you get to hear the vision and the progress and where they're going with things. And so it's like an opportunity to kind of truly look into the future with teams that are building really exciting, novel things in the consumer crypto space. We have fun things planned. We always have fun things planned. So you want to show up. Keep an eye on our timeline for the next 2 weeks. We have a bunch of fun drops that are coming out that'll be exciting, and you'll want to click buttons on. And then, when you show up, there'll be some fun interactive stuff that you can do that's going to be worth your while. So come hang out, June 20th, demo day.
Yeah, I think this is also just such an important time in the arc of consumer crypto. Like the things that we can suddenly now build that we couldn't even like 3 to 6 months ago, like is very stark. And actually, I recommend reading this post because when I was writing it and I was kind of highlighting all the like big questions that the teams are running at, I was like kind of just smacked in the face with the things that we can now directly run at solving and building for. Whereas like a year ago, it was like you could launch a token or whatever. And,
scroll down to the questions piece here. If you go down a bit further, piece.
I'm trying. I really beat my computer up. Here we go.
More. Keep going.
The next question.
Way down.
Yeah, these ones here, up here a little bit. So
Oh, nice.
What if we built crypto-powered social hardware for the girls? How do fashion-focused AI models enable new forms of self-discovery and expression? How does crypto enable us to bring sports ownership experiences to everybody? What if we allowed category experts or communities to seamlessly own and manage their own marketplaces, the headless marketplaces? Unofficials out there in the world of data, creating generative social experiences from this open data layer that's coming out of Lens and Farcaster, et cetera. Like these are all really cool things. And I think what's interesting is there's sort of this mix of like, pretty clear paths to the more, speculative, fun token-based stuff, and also teams that are really taking I think a longer view through that, how they're building, these products that are really crypto native. They're on-chain, they're on-chain business models, they're mimetic in some way, and will likely be sort of not only new experiences people can do, but like parts of new experiences that other people can remix. Mm-hmm. So we're ecstatic about the progress these teams have been making, and very, very excited for you all to get truly the first look at this on June 20th. Come hang out.
It's gonna be great.
Let's do a hard pivot into celebrity coins.
All right. Yeah. So now on to the the biggest topic of the week. I think we can pretty quickly just zoom past the headlines. Like I don't know. I'm sick of hearing about Jenner, sick of hearing about Iggy. But I think it really forced us to have some conversations, and me to just think more about this like inevitable kind of influencer, mainstream celebrity involvement in crypto, and just like what the right way for them to actually get involved and participate is. And I think like very obviously them launching their own tokens is completely the wrong thing.
So fucking bad, dude.
It's just so bad, right? Like
for everybody.
There's no opportunity for any real community to form. It's going to pump and dump. People are going to be mad. It's just a guaranteed like trust burn and credibility burn for the.
Damn, I so disagree. That's I can't believe you think that. Like, I actually thought the way that Iggy launched was so sick, where it was like, from what I gathered, paying attention to the thing, it was like Iggy was contacted by Sahil. Sahil was going to launch it. He had a ticker Iggy. She said, no, the fuck way is ticker Iggy ever going to happen. So she had to slap ticker mother up and launch the token herself. And I just think that was so the move. And like, there was like, because the token never even got to an insane valuation, the dump to me feels so marginal or not abnormal from any token.
It's up, right? The Iggy's doing okay, but I think that's actually more the point Josh is trying to get at here.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like that was this kind of unique, kind of fun story moment in time. But I think the next anyone looking at doing this now, like there are people tweeting being like, oh, how do I launch like my own meme coin on Solana? And I think like those are just inevitably going to fail. I think I agree with, I think it was smart that she didn't launch Iggy. She launched Mother. I think her just launching a like properly memetic meme coin, I think makes a lot more sense. But I think, you know, if I think about, you know, some big celebrity kind of seeing, you know, the value of having, you know, fans create memes around them, promoting their work, coordinating and socializing around like their brand, and like ultimately getting economic exposure to their like cultural relevance. I think maybe there are like two paths to it, right? Like one is you actually just maybe you suggest that you're interested in this or want this, or like just start getting interested in crypto and just let hundreds of people launch them, see which one kind of either you resonate with more or like starts forming social consensus, and kind of just like participate in a fun way, but not have any kind of like responsibility to it. I think like that's kind of one fun path. And then I think, you know, another one is kind of more the like scene coin path, right? Where, you know, a celebrity could launch a ticker that's not, you know, not their name. I think that's very important, but like relevant to the identity of their fan base, you know, airdrop it to past supporters, kind of create novel distribution mechanisms over time that people contributing and participating in their scene can earn, you know, probably at some point, like launch a product with like reputation in social games, and kind of go the more like serious project path, or the like pure kind of bottoms up meme path. But I think I think launching one in their likeness with the intention to pump it is just doomed to not go well.
Yeah, I mean, I think like there's also going to be this broader sort of like the celebrities who are launching these tokens are going to create a sort of dynamic where it's not going to look super compelling for other like for more serious celebrities to launch their own tokens. Like it'll be, I think that the joke on the internet is, you know, D-list celebrities launching D-list meme coins, and you know that I think with anything that's purely attention based, there will be winners, right? There will be a category leader of celebrity token, right? Something will jump the shark and it'll be super valuable. I think the challenge is like you probably don't have a lot of control over making that happen, right? And so it's kind of rolling the dice and pure luck. And when you have your brand, like yourself, the person, which I think is actually very different than a brand actually tied to it, you sort of at the whims of like the cycle there in a way that I think can be pretty awkward. So you don't have control over necessarily making it work or not work in the way that these things are being launched. Purely attention based. Some might win, some might lose. Most are going to lose. Do you want to be, you know, associated with that? And I think, I mean, if you zoom out, obviously there was obviously some sort of brand reputation damage to people who did really shitty NFT projects back in the day. But you know, if you zoom out, like these people are still popular and things working. So maybe it's a pretty low risk from that perspective. So I think it's actually more interesting just to think, well, like how would you go do this well? And I think Ansem came up with a tweet the other day or earlier today that was trying to suggest something around Taylor Swift launching a meme coin. I'm like, that's very much not the way to go do it. This idea of sort of baking in utility,
the social token kind of path, right?
Trying to find it here. You guy tweets so bloody much. I don't even know.
I think it was something around like launch an NFT collection that gets you like perks or like
access to thing and then fractionalize it. And it's like, oh, come on, that's the most boomer thing I've heard from him ever. So I think there it is still leaning into this sort of mimetic and attention piece. And so, yeah, I know the way I sort of think about meme coins and scene coins, and I think scene coins is like a subset of meme coins. Like one is purely attention based, the other is trying to sort of distribute and represent the value of a group of people's belief in an idea or thing, a scene, etc. And I just think one is got a lot more luck baked into it. Like there's, how do you go get the cabal on board? How do you get, you know, it's the chart that's driving it. It's a liquidity game. It's an attention game. And the other is really about something that you have a lot more levers to pull in thinking about how you distribute tokens. And I think when you layer on some of the new tech that's emerging, like ZK-TLS, that kind of allows you to, you could literally go in and say, okay, well, I want to go distribute a token to everybody who's listened to more than 10 hours of my songs or my music on Spotify. That window exists now, and for a little while, I don't know if it exists forever. So there's some pretty cool ways to remix this and to do this in a way that is actually, you have a little bit more agency around. I also love the idea of like, you know, I think this community launching token and it being ordained by the creator is also a really smart way to go. So like you could launch a token probably coming out of a fan club that's related to crypto in some way, allocate a portion of the tokens to the creator that they can come claim
Yeah.
through a tweet or something saying I'm claiming this sort of stuff, and then just imagine what kind of happens from that there. I mean, Mother's trading at just under a $20 million market cap right now. I don't know if that's a success or not yet, but it hasn't dumped in the way that I think many would have expected. And I think a big part of that is the story that it emerged from.
Yeah, I think Mother's great. Like there's a lot of lore. It kind of kicked off this celebrity, meme coin conversation. Like there's some heat there. But I think, yeah, to your last point, like there's like a Kanye meme coin, for example, that like these people have just been grinding for years to just create Kanye content and meme and like do all this shit around Kanye, and him coming in and just supporting that seems like such a better path to fun and happiness than trying to that he owns a ton of.
All right. Well, I feel like we're probably going to be talking about this quite often, as I'm sure this is just the beginning of the celebrity cycle here. Interesting to see how much earlier in the cycle the celebrities are coming on board. I think that's actually probably pretty meaningful. I think it sort of leads me to think that people are more primed and interested in crypto today than they were last cycle. And that probably means that we bring a lot of that attention forward as soon as we start to see more consistent all-time highs at some point in the crypto markets more generally. So interesting times ahead, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We got 3 minutes left. We really fucked ourselves with time here. Yeah.
I can kind of combine these two into one topic. So I guess part A, Pump.Fund continues to crush. I think over 750,000 meme coins have been launched on the platform so far, which is super interesting. Just insane number. I think they had their biggest day ever this week at $1.5 million in fees. They just stumbled onto this like insane fucking business. So this week they announced live streaming, integrating live streaming native into the platform. So anyone that creates a token can now go live immediately in context of the chart and all the social shit they're building. I think they saw this emerging. Twitch streamers were using Pump.Fund to launch tokens and stream, so it makes a ton of sense to bring that in. But I think really interesting to just see them continue building out the like social features, or build this like social kind of entertainment platform on the foundation of meme coins and launching tokens. I think earlier this year I talked to them before any of this had happened, and that was kind of the insight they were on. So kind of cool to see them continue running at that. But I think really interesting to compare kind of this continued success. I think interesting to note with Pump.Fund is it's like each meme coin has its own storyline, right? Like Pump.Fund is like the Netflix of meme coins. Each of these meme coins have this very like episodic nature, kind of short shelf life often, but Pump.Fund being the place that just contains kind of all of this like ephemeral content, has proven to be very effective. And then you compare that to Fantasy Top, which I think a bunch of people were talking this week about just how dramatically their revenues have dropped off recently. I think down like 99% from their high. And I think just looking at them, it's like way more of a kind of like single storyline game. Obviously, a lot of people were there because it was kind of this new shiny casino, and less there because like they actually loved crypto Twitter influencers and wanted to like extend the surface area that they could kind of express that. So maybe not there for the right reasons, but I think just a really interesting comparison of like being the platform versus being the game.
I mean, my sense with Fantasy is that they're probably trying to make that transition to a degree. I think like the biggest challenge I saw with Fantasy Top was like, Ben was an early hero there and was using it in his trading and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, okay, let me go figure this out. And it felt like there was just these like that me as a new user was going to be at a huge disadvantage coming in to try to play this game. So kind of created this like sense of a bunch of walls up there that maybe was fair, maybe was not, but that definitely was sort of what I felt. And I think, we listened to kind of what the Fantasy Top team is talking about. And I think there've been a couple podcasts recently, and we should get them on and just figure out where they're going with this. Cause my sense is they've got more interesting things that they're working towards. Was that there is much more of a platform to emerge here, and that this sort of like fantasy game around influencers, etc. But yeah, I think like this is the interesting question, right? Is like, are these things, as Chris is saying here, theatrical releases? They're sort of like blockbusters that come out, have a moment, and then disappear, or are they platforms, or is there a path to go from? And I think there's actually a middle ground here, right? Which is like some theatrical releases become sagas, right? They become they become the Marvels or the Star Wars or the Lord of the Rings, and kind of have a lot more of an impact than just sort of like maybe a one hit wonder type of movie. So
I actually think like fantasy influencer makes a ton of sense to me. Like I think still I'm not calling them dead in any way. I think that the thing that they obviously need to do now is probably move off of crypto Twitter, probably run at like some other like interest group, like go at like reality stars, find people at like the intersection of, crypto enthusiasts and reality star enthusiasts, and really like build the platform that's like an extension of their like fandom for that, and that extends like the way they can engage with those people. Because then they're there that you could go find like a couple hundred probably true fans of the experience off that and build from there, versus like, we weren't there because, I cared about playing fantasy with like Ben. It was just this new kind of crypto casino to start on.
Well,
but guess what? They made a ton of revenue, right? Like it was clearly the right thing to go do first. Had a ton of usage, but then now go build a thing that combines like the social value with this.
There's the sense of like, you can run into like real quick hits that drive a ton of attention and now revenue in these worlds. And I think like a lot of the timelines sort of saying that they've fallen off, and I think your point is right. Like they've made a ton of money, they've learned a lot, and now the question is how do they go roll that into the next thing? And so I think like that the thing to look at is like, is there like a big category here that has a lot of other like experiments and compelling opportunities to go play in, and how do those sort of first experiments support and sort of create a new floor for you to sort of leap from into these new opportunities? So it'd be cool to see what that happens. I mean, the crypto's littered with these sort of things that hit and then disappear. I think recently we've seen those sort of have Act 2 and Act 3 and maybe Act 4, and so that's kind of what I'm watching for right now.
For sure.
Okay, we're over time. Can you just give us a lightning round here? Give us one lightning round and we'll get the heck out of here. Pepe is now worth more than every single major NFT project across blockchains combined. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like the NFT narrative. I mean, this reminds me of like there was a vote that went. So Nouns, I think we talked about before. Nouns is going to launch, or was exploring launching, Nouns meme coin or social token. Got voted down by the Nouns governance this week, and it seems like there's just sort of like this almost doubt around, we've gone back and forth on this for the longest time, right? We're like, oh, ERC20s, fungible tokens are the thing. Oh no, NFTs are actually better for many reasons, especially for early projects, the individual component, there are going to be better memes, etc. And also now we're kind of back in this world where, actually like liquidity seems to be king. People love tokens generally. They love, being able to buy, they love to be able to sell tokens. And I think like, at least my current thinking here is like these fungible tokens just have far more upside than NFTs, though I still hold some of these lovely NFTs that make up that the left side of the graph here. So
I feel like NFTs existing within like fungible token worlds makes
I also just think this is noisy data. Like this all of a sudden changes very fast with a handful of sales.
I think that's the thing too. We're probably very much at the bottom of the NFT cycle, and it's I think very likely some of those come back. But I mean, there's actually, I think one of some guy at a venture for Standard Crypto, I think made a bet with Luca from Pudgy Penguin saying about whether NFTs will ever come back or not. I think they both got like 50K on the line or something like that. So skin in the game. We'll see what's going there. I think I wouldn't count NFTs down and out yet by any means, but very clearly the meta today is ERC20. So
this is a good one. Yuga sucks. What more can be said?
Definitely not doing the best things, that's for sure. All right. We're well over time here today. It's episode 31 of Internet Explorers. Josh Peace. Fridays, let's go. We're back here every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time with, I don't know, more random stuff, I guess, that we maybe don't fully get through. If you're hanging out with us today, RSVP for Demo Day. It's June 20th. You can find that on our Twitter account. It's going to be fun. You're going to want to be there. Tell your friends. Tell your parents. Bring your dog. It'll be fun. It's the weekend. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and stoked to see you again back here next Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific. See you on chain.
Goodbye.